Alright, hopefully you've got part A done. So we're going to continue moving on with the page that we left off on here, and it's going to talk about congruent segments. All congruent segments are segments that have the same length. They might not necessarily be in the same direction, but they're going to have the same length. A couple of things about congruent segments. Number one, this symbol is going to be used throughout the rest of your geometry year, and maybe further on you might see it on some college exams or so on and so forth. But this symbol right here means congruent. So a little equal sign, a little wave over the top, that means congruent. Another thing, if you have segments that are given to you, then one little tick mark would signify that these two segments are congruent. If there was more than just two segments in the drawing, then they could mark other congruent segments with maybe 2 tick marks. Or if there was more lines, they could mark them with 3 tick marks. So if they have the same number of tick marks, then they will be congruent. How to write a congruent statement between segments. Let's say that these two blue segments was a congruent statement that I was writing. If this is point A and this is point B, this point C and this point D, then I would say segment AB is congruent to segment CD. Now we're going to be getting into constructions here very shortly. When I say do a construction, what I mean is to use that compass that we looked at on the part 1 of this video and the straight edge that we also looked at in part 1. That's the 2 tools that you need to do a construction. You don't need a protractor, you don't need to use the ruler markings. All you need is some sort of straight edge and the compass. And here's our first construction. What this construction is we're going to construct a copy of segment AB. So we need a segment AB to start with. So why don't in your notes right now, hopefully you're maybe doing this in a notebook or smart notebook, go ahead and take your ruler out, and with your ruler mark a straight line, and then go back to your pen and put 2 endpoints on that segment and call it AB. Alright, so to go about copying this segment, what you need to do is you're going to have to take your ruler and you're going to have to mark a line that is definitely longer than your original segment. So just go ahead and mark a line that is definitely longer than your original segment. Now at the beginning of this segment, I'm going to go ahead and mark an endpoint, and let's just call it something different because point A is here, so this location let's call point C. Alright. Now we're going to come up here and we're going to grab our compass, and I need to put the point that would usually stick if this was a regular compass that we were using by hand. It's going to go on point A, and I'm going to open the compass up until it stretches to point B. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark a point there, and see how I'm a little short, so I'm going to try and widen this out just a little bit until I get the length of that entire segment on there. Well, I want to leave my compass at that measurement, or opened up at that length, because now I can copy that segment by coming down here on C and putting the point there on C, and then just mark that part of the circle or the arc right across your segment until there's an intersection there. And where that intersection is that same length that AB is. So I'm going to put a little point right there and call that D. And now what I've done is copied segment AB and called it CD. So I'm going to want you to pause the video now, and in your homework, just do it on the Smart Notebook software, go ahead and create a different segment and copy it. So yes, I want you to do one in your notes, and then I want you to do one in your homework. I'm going to go ahead and end this video now.